So now we can just go ahead and start with our own project. And before that, I want to introduce the design for you, because we're not gonna create everything from scratch. Already the design and these stuff, like I already did them for you, so you can just take them and start coding our own backend right away. So we have like 3 files down over here. Actually have them in the HT docs. Just go ahead and create a folder inside the HT docs, or yeah, you can actually take them right away, but you are gonna create a folder and you are gonna put these inside this folder auth-system. All right, so basically we have like an includes file, and this like has our own header and our own footer file. So basically, instead of just going and including like writing this whole thing on every page that we have, because of course we need these links down here, because this is like bootstrap stuff we should be including, so our design will work just fine. So instead of writing all of these things over and over and over again, I actually went ahead and put them in a header, and we are going to be including this header at every file that we're working with. Right, and of course created a file down here. So if we look at the index.php, you can see that we now have the header and we have the footer down here. We require this file, so this file, the design inside it should work just fine. All right, and if we look to login.php, you can see that it's a simple page down here. We have the header, of course, and we have the footer, and it has just one form down here, so we can process our own login backend. Right, and we also have the register.php file. All right, down here, and of course we have like some kind of form that will do the register for us, and it has like a couple of inputs, and it has a button down over here, right? And it has this link, so the user, if he doesn't actually have an account, he can go ahead. If he has an account, he can go ahead and log in right away. All right, so basically, after you go ahead and write localhost auth-system or any other name that you want to write, can go ahead and go to the login.php, and you will find this page. The page looks like this. So basically, if we go to like index, you can see that our page only has like the word hello. It's just like, and this is like only what we have for now, right? We have it right here, hello from index, and if we refresh this, you can see that it says hello from index. So basically everything is working, everything is great, the design looks fine. Okay, nothing is broken. So now we need to take care of our own config file, and the config file is basically the basis of every project. All right, so we need to like connect to our database. We need to set some credentials so we can connect to our own database, and we can start working with our own project. All right, so if we go ahead now and create config.php, right, and if we go ahead and set our own credentials, PHP, maybe the first thing that we need to do is host is equal to almost always local host, and the second thing is the DB name, which is we did not create it. We did not create just yet. So if we go like auth-system, and if we go for the next one, it's going to be like the username. So if we actually go user is equal to, and my user name is root. Okay, it's almost always root. And for the password, which is the last thing, we can go password is equal to, and my password is nothing. Okay, this might be different view, and this is the password for PHP-MyAdmin, and this is the username for PHP-MyAdmin. Alright, so now we have our own 4 credentials. We can go ahead and just connect to our own database, and we need to create a folder. We need to create a variable for this, which is connection. Alright, so we can like take an instantiation or an object from the PDO class. Alright, and this is the PDO that we are going to be using to connect to our own database. Okay, it's a technology inside PHP. It's already built in for us, and we can go, well, first of all, we need the the kind or the type of database that we are working with, and we're working with MySQL, of course, and colon, and now we need the host, which is the second thing. Right, host is equal to our own variable up there, and we are gonna end this with like a semicolon, and after that we need like the DB name, which is equal to the DB name, and we need the semicolon, and now we can get out of this and write our own, and we get our own our own second parameter, which is user, and the third parameter for this is going to be pass. Alright, so I'm guessing that will work just fine. If we go ahead now, and if we just test this, do a little test, we're gonna see if connection is equal to true, and that means that our connection to the database is working. We are gonna echo out working, it's working fine, else echo out connection is wrong, error. And if we save all of this, let's go ahead and test this out. We are gonna go right away config.php, and if we go ahead, you can see that down here it says unknown database auth system at line 17, and that's of course because we did not like create our own database. And if you go to PHP-MyAdmin that we already installed inside, and it of course comes inside our own exam. Okay, it comes integrated with exam. Just go ahead, localhost /php-myadmin /index.php, and we can go ahead now and create our own database. So we can actually go down here and create, and this is how we create our own database. It's extremely easy. Now if you go down here and refresh this, you can see it's working fine. If you don't see it, here it is. So the database connection is working perfectly. Right, so I'm guessing that that's it for this video. Might be short, I don't know, it's not that short, but in the next one we are gonna go ahead and start with the registration page. And until this time, see you. So now we're back again with another video, and in this one we are going to take care of the registration page. And this might take a while, okay, but you will enjoy it. So basically we've done with this page down here. So if we go to register.php, you can see that we have our own form down here. So if we go over here, and we need like to include our own config or require our own config, so we can actually go ahead and use the config or the connection variable, the connection object, so we can start working with our own database. So we're gonna say require config.php. so now we can start right away working with our own backend. We can process our own logic down here. So basically we want to go we need when the user clicks on the button down here, you know, let's say we are gonna go to register.php. We wanna tell the user, all right, so we wanna tell the user when he clicks on this button down here, we get these data from the inputs and insert it into our own table that we are going to be creating, but not now. Okay, we are going to be creating in the next couple minutes. So we want to take every input that he gave us, every data and every input, and we want to insert it inside our own table. All right, so how exactly are we going to do this? So first of all, we need to check for the submit, or we need to check for this click. So we are gonna go if set, you know, post. We're going to use the post global because this is like a post, this is like a form down here with the method post. All right, now this is why we are going to do a post down here, and we need to do actually an action for the form, and we are going like the action refers to the page that's processing this form, and the page, of course, it's the same page, which is, you know, which is register.php, which is only makes sense because we're processing the logic for the form in the same page. So basically, we want to say if it said post that's coming from the button down here, and we need to set a name for this one, and the name is going to be submit. All right, and we are gonna check, we need to set this, and we need to write the name submit in order to write the word submit down here, because we are checking for a submit. All right, so if we go down here, so basically we're saying if the user clicked on this button down over here, we need to be doing something. Well, first of all, we need to check if the user actually wrote something in the inputs, okay, because he might just not write anything in any inputs actually, and it means that we are going to insert empty inputs which is just invalid, and this is not what we want. We want the user to enter something that's valid, to enter some data so we can actually go ahead and process it. All right, so we are gonna check for input, you know, for empty input by saying if post, which is a super global that takes some kind of data from an input when we process a form, and we want to say if post, first of all, name email is equal to nothing, and post username is equal to nothing, and post password is equal to nothing. Actually, we are going to keep it or. So we are saying if any one of those is equal to nothing, we are going to go ahead and display some kind of message down here. So we are going to go echo out some inputs are empty. All right, else we are going to do something else. So basically what we've done down here, if we just Okay, all what we did in this code, if we're checking for some kind of click on this button down over here, okay, using the name that we just give, we are singling this name down here from the form into our post super global. So we're saying if the email, if the input with the name email is empty, or the input with the username, which we actually don't have. All right, so this is going to be like user name, and this is going to be user name. All right, this is going to be text, and now the placeholder is going to be username maybe. All right, so now we have it down over here, and we're saying if the post with the user name is the input with the username is empty, or the input with password, which we are gonna go ahead and give it a name now. Is also, if it's also empty, okay, if it's equal or it's identical to nothing, we are gonna go ahead and like tell the user that some of the inputs that he entered is actually empty, which is not what we want. All right, so if we actually just go ahead and try this for now, so I'm guessing that everything is working fine. We have like the message post, and we have the action, and everything is working great. If we save all of this, and if we refresh now, you can see that we have 3 inputs, and this is like the one that we created. If we actually go ahead and click on sign in, if we refresh now, and maybe we will write something down here, and if we go sign in, yeah, it's actually an email. And now let's click. You can see that it's giving us down here some inputs are empty, which is true, right? So let's just go ahead and type something in each one of them, and if we go sign in, and you can see that it's giving us nothing because we did not do anything at the else down over here. And this is what we are gonna do if we write he filled all the inputs. We are going to go ahead and process our own data, and we need like to go ahead now and take the data from the inputs, and for this we are going to go email is equal to post sober global, and we are going to take the email data that he just entered, and we're going to do the same with the username and password. Now we can go ahead and do our own query right away. Maybe we'll call it insert, and let's use our own connection. Let's go with a prepare. Now let's open this so we can go ahead and insert it, insert into, and we are going to call our own table users, and this is like basically this is clean MySQL. If you know it, if you know MySQL, you are going like this should be a piece of cake for you. So insert into users, and now let's go ahead and write our own columns. Now the first column is email, second column is username, the second column that we are going to be doing is my password. Let's call it this because the word password, I guess it's already it's already a word, or it's already a keyword in MySQL, so we're going to avoid this and write in my password. And we are gonna now specify our own values. We're gonna go values, and we are gonna go and we are gonna put some handlers down over here, okay, which is just one of the good features of the prepare function. We're gonna do some handlers down here, and then we are going to execute them with our own data, and this will like protect your inputs, okay, from harmful stuff and things like that. So if we go username, my password, this is like PDO stuff, okay, password, and now I'm guessing that's actually done. So we need to go ahead now and execute this. So insert, gonna go ahead and execute this, and inside this we are gonna do an array, and for the array we are gonna go ahead and assign every array that we have to the actual data that we're actually getting from the database. All right, now we can actually go ahead and now write the variables that we already did. We can go in the username, all right, and we can go for the password, and this of course my password, and this is going to be password, and we actually need to go ahead and hash it. And I want to hash the password just in case if somebody hacked your database, anything like that. If you actually went ahead and he hacked it, he will go ahead to your tables and he will find the password hashed or encrypted, so he cannot actually steal the credentials of your users, or he cannot use the credentials to log in because he doesn't have the real password. Okay, so I'm gonna go with password hash function, which is a really cool function in order to go ahead and hash our own database. So the first parameter it needs like the password that the user already entered, and it needs also this value that we are going to be doing, which is password default, which will hash our own password the default way. All right, so I'm guessing that that's actually it for the execute. All right, so but what we basically did for now is we went ahead and we checked for submit. We checked that if our own inputs down here are, if they are empty, we are gonna go ahead and display some kind of message to tell the user to process, or actually to tell the user that some inputs are empty. He enters some data into our inputs, and if he entered data in the 3 inputs and he did not leave 1, we're gonna go ahead and take this data and we're gonna like process it with some query down here. We're gonna insert into users email username, my password, and we have our own email username and my password, which is just handlers down here, and we already assigned our own data, email username, and we hashed our own password. And of course in the next video I'm going to show you how to dehash this in the log n. All right, so it's now perfect. I'm guessing that all what we need to do now is just go ahead and create our own table. All right, so now we have the name. Make sure just everything is spelled right, and we have the name, which is password, and we have the name for the input, which is submit, and it's a type of submit down here. All right, so everything is working perfect, everything is great. If we save all of this, go ahead now and get our own table going. We go users, and maybe we need like 5 columns. and maybe for the next one is going, for the first one is going to be ID. Let's keep it for 3 for the length, and we can go auto increment primary. If we go email, and if we go for the next one, username, and if we go for the third one, which is my password, all right, then we're going to keep this varchar. Let's give it also for the length 200, and maybe for the last one we're going to keep it created at, which is, you know, just the history, sorry, not the history, the date. So we are going to set it to timestamp, and for the default value down here we're going to set it to current timestamp, which will actually get the date on the fly once we create a record in this table users. It's going like to set it to enter, or actually to give us the current date that's created, that this row is created in. So if we go save, oh, maybe something is wrong, I don't know. And now it's processing. Okay, I don't know why it already told me that it already exists, but now it's working. Everything looks good. And let's refresh one time. And now if you go ahead for the email and write in user.x at email.com, now let's go ahead and type in user.x, and for the password I'm just gonna copy the email real quick and go sign in, and you can see that we got to the same page. So let's go ahead and go browse. We actually created our own first user. If you look up over here, we got the email and we got the username and we got our own password down here, which is hashed. So if actually hacked this, if somebody hacked your own database, he will not access the passwords down here, so he will not be able to register, or actually to log in, sorry, as one of your users. All right, so I'm hoping that you're not confused by this whole thing. It's really simple. Once you understand the super globals and how to use the password functions and how to do a query, everything's basically easy. It's a piece of cake if you look at it. So this is it for this one. I'm sorry that this video is long or something, and see you in the next video. So now we're back once more, and in this one we are going to be doing our login. So if you go to the login page down here, this page will appear. This page will show up. All right, so basically we want to do if the user gets on here and he enters some kind of email and a password, we are going to be removing the username down here. We will need an email and a password. So he basically enters both of those two data down here and these two inputs. And if you click on sign in, we're gonna go ahead and redirect the user to the index page. Of course, if the username and the email are the correct ones that we actually have in our database down over here. All right, so what we need to do this is to just go ahead to our login page. So basically we're done with the register, and if we go to login.php, we're gonna of course find our own form and find require header and the require footer. If we close this, if we look down here, let's remove this for now, and we can say login, and we can remove, we don't need the username for now. For now we don't even need it. All right, so let's go ahead and now do our own logic. So we actually need the config file. We go ahead and copy and paste, so that's fine. Now, what do we need to get our login going? So basically, what we are going to need is basically the data from the user. Okay, so we're going to check for the submit, and then we are going to take the data and do the query. Alright, and after we do our own query, we are going to execute. And after the execute, we are going to do the fetch the data with the fetch function with PDO, of course. And after the fetch, we are going to check for the row count. And of course, if you don't understand this, I'm going to explain everything just in a minute. And after the row count, we are gonna go ahead and use the password verify function to actually check for the right password. So the row count, we are going to use it to check for the email, and the password verify to check for the password down here. And of course, that only makes sense, and that only logical, because we need both of them to be the right one. So in order for the user to log in. All right, so this is basically what we are going to be doing. All right, so it might sound complicated at first, but just follow along with me and focus. Pay attention. All right, so basically when I go if is set, let's check actually if we have our own button down here and it doesn't have the name, and we need the name because this is what we are going to be checking when we submit. The name is going to be submit. All right, so we're gonna say post submit, just like what we did at the register page. And if the user clicks on the button, we are gonna go ahead and now do something to it. So basically, we want to go if we're going to check if the inputs are empty or not. If post email, we did not write our own name, email, and we also need one for the password, and this one is going to be password. All right, so sounds great. And so we're gonna say email is equal to nothing, and or not and. Let's copy this real quick, and we're saying in the email if the password is equal to nothing, we are gonna go ahead now and copy our own. Now let's copy this right away. Maybe we'll change it in the future to some kind of alert. We want to say that some inputs are empty. So if either the email input is empty or the password is empty, we're going to say that you have some inputs that are empty. Enter something so we can actually go ahead and process it. So if none of those are empty, we are going to move to the next block, which is else. So basically in this block, we're going to grab our own data, and we are going to see email. I'm going to grab the post, of course, email, and let's copy this. Can say password, and we need to go ahead now and do our own query. So we're gonna call it login and it's equal to connection, and we have down here our own query, and we can say select all from the user's table where email is equal to the email that we actually have down here. Right, so we're only checking for the email, and the password is going to be in a minute. Right, so we're saying select all from users with where email, where the email down here is equal to the email that the user actually entered. All right, and we're gonna close this, and in order for this to work and to be complete, we're gonna go ahead and log in, execute, and now we're gonna go ahead and fetch it. I'm gonna say data is equal to login fetch, and we're gonna say PDO fetch underscore, and we're gonna fetch it as an associate variable, so we're going to say ESSOC. All right, so that's basically it for the fetch down over here. All right, so after that we actually need to go ahead now and do our own row count. So in order for us to fully check for the email, we're going to do the row count, and the row count function is basically a function that returns a certain number based on some query, or based on the query that you are giving it. So basically it returns a certain number based on the number of rows that this query is going to affect. So this query is going to affect only one row. All right, and we're checking, because we're checking of course for one email per time. We can actually use it for like if we go ahead and insert maybe another certain scenario for this. Let's say we go ahead and insert like 7 or 6 rows, or we update 7 or 6 rows in our database. If we use the row count for this, it will return the number 7, or it will return the number 6. So basically it will return what the certain query, or the query that you're giving it, it will return the number of the rows that this query affected. So let's say how this would work, and we're going to say if login row count is greater than 0, we're gonna go ahead now and do something. So we're saying if the login query down here is returning any value that's bigger than 0, we want to go ahead and check for something, and it only will return a number that's greater than 0 when the email when the email that the user entered is the same email, or is an email that's valid in our own table. All right, and that only makes sense, right? And it will only return the number 1. Okay, so I'm going to actually test for something, and I'm going to show you how this works. So I'm going to echo out actually the login row count, so I can show you that actually it's returning 1. All right, so let's save all of this. If we go ahead now and enter an email that's in our database, this should return, it will return the number 1. All right, and if it doesn't, it will not actually return anything. All right, so if we go ahead, refresh this whole thing, and let's go down here, and we have only one email. Let's copy it real quick, and let's go ahead down over here, and let's type anything in the password. If we sign in, we can say maybe we did something wrong. Let's go to the login. Yeah, if we look down here, the form, yeah, we forgot to do our method. Of course, that's why the data is rendered in the link in the URL down here if you look up. Okay, and this shouldn't happen. We should process our own form, and this shouldn't be happening. So we're gonna see the post is the message is post, and the action is equal to the current page, which is login.php. All right, so let's go back now, and let's just copy it. We're not gonna do an if just for now. We need to copy, we need to echo out our own row count. So let's save all of this. I want to just show you that it's actually returning a number. So if we copy this email, if we go down here, and maybe we'll say we have any email that you can any password, just write in anything, and let's say sign in. You can see that's actually giving us our and the number one down here, which means that it's actually we actually have an email with this email that we entered into our own database, and that means that it affects one row down here in this query. Okay, this query is affecting only one row, but if we go and entered like any kind of email that we don't have, let's say gmail@gmail, which of course an email that we don't have, if we copy it and enter anything inside the password, and if we say sign in, because we cannot leave the password empty, this will be triggered, and we don't want to trigger this. So if we go sign in, you can see that's giving us 0, because of course the Gmail that we entered, or the email that we entered, is not it's not in our table users down here. Okay, so I hope that all of this made sense. So if we now go back, and we're saying if the login row count is greater than 0, we want to go ahead now, and that means that the email is valid. We want to go ahead now and check for the password. So how exactly are we going to check for our own password? The user, when he comes in and he's going to enter his password, of course it's going to be a raw password that's like numbers, signs, characters, and stuff like that, just like here in the email. Okay, but if we look down here, we only have the hash. So how are we going to do this? We are going to use the password verify function, and the password verify function will take the raw password that the user entered, the human friendly password that he entered, and it's going to hash it, and it's going to match it or compare it to our own password that we have into our own database. All right, and that's what we are going to be writing down over here. So we're saying if password, we look down here, we say we have the password verify, and it takes only like 2 parameters. We need the string password, we need the password, the raw password that the user entered, and we need the hash that's already in our own database. All right, so the password is down here that the user entered. Okay, it's really easy. And the password hash that the password hash that's already in our database, we can get it down over here from the data through our own fetch. So if we go data, and we're gonna do our own array, and now we can get my password, which is our own column. Okay, we already got the password down here from the fetch based on our own email, the email that the user actually entered down over here. Okay, and this is the login down here, and this is the login, so it's in the same query. So we're saying, and this will return true if it worked. So we're saying if this is worked and the password is right, the data or the password that the user entered matches the hash. We want to go ahead for now, we're gonna go ahead and just echo out logged in. Okay, we're not going to do anything aside from this. So if we save all of this, actually if we go down here, I want to display some kind of message, maybe echo out user, not user email or password is wrong, and let's go ahead and copy this whole thing. I want to go back also down here and echo the same thing. So this is the else that's down here. This should be, sorry, this should be down here. So basically if it worked, we're gonna say logged in, and if it does not work, that means that the password is wrong. All right, so and in this one, this else down here is the else for this if. All right, so if this is not greater than 0, that means the email is wrong. All right, so everything is working fine. As you can see, we have our own if down here, and we have our own if else inside and if down here. Okay, so you didn't get confused. So if we save all of this and go back and refresh this, and let's pick up our own email and let's paste it, and the password is the email. So if we paste password, we're gonna say sign in. You can see that we got our own message down here and it says logged in. If we actually go and I want to try, I want to try another, I want to do another try down here. If we go to the email, let's say user 3@user.com, and the email user.user_me, and for the password, we're not gonna do it as the same as email, so you would know, so you can know that this is not fake. We're gonna do it 1 2 3 4. All right, when we're gonna sign in now, and now we can, if we look down here, you can see we have our own record. Here is the email and here is the password that's hashed. And if we go now to the login page, we go login down here, and if we enter our own email address for the password, we're gonna go 1 2 3 4, which is our own password, and we're gonna go sign in. You can see now it's logged in, so this actually worked and everything is legit, as you can see down over here. So this is basically it. I hope that nothing was hard or confusing for you. We're just explained the row count and the password verify function, which might sound confusing at first. It's actually really easy, and they're very useful to use them, of course, and to know them as a developer in general. All right, so that's it for this one, and see you in the next video. So now we're back once more, and in this one we're going to hit the user to the login page when he logs in, and we are going to be changing the navbar down here. Of course, when we go to the index page, when we're logged in and we have our own sessions, we don't want to show the login and the register pages. Actually, we shouldn't be showing them. We should only show the home down here and show the username. Okay, and after we log out and destroy our own session, we can go back and show only the home, the login, and the register down over here. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. All right, so if we look down here, we need to go ahead and start our own sessions, and that's what we should be doing, and we are going to do this at the top of our own header.php file. And this is what we should do, because the session in PHP, or actually anything else, should start at the top of your page, and we have the header page in in every page that we have, we are including it on the login, at the register and everything. So we should do it right here. So we're going to say session start, and that's actually all you need to start our own session in PHP. And if we save, if we go now, and we can take advantage of our own sessions, and we can go down here and go, maybe we will go session, and we are going to take the username as a session, and we are gonna like set it equal to, we already got the data down here because we've selected all of this, we've selected all the data that we need, and we fetched it. So we can go for this one, for username, and maybe we'll take the data a session also for the email. Maybe we'll need it, and if we don't need it, that's also fine. All right, so if we save all of this, maybe we'll go also to the index page. So we're going to say location index.php, and if we go to the index page, we can actually echo something down here. Let's say now, because we have our own session at header.php and we include it inside the index down here, we can say hello, and now we can take advantage of our own session and say session hello session user name. Okay, so let's go ahead, just put this inside the PHP, and we're gonna say echo, and let's concatenate this, and so save all of this, and let's go down here, refresh this again, and let's pick up our own email and try to log in. Well, let's see what's going to happen. 1 2 3 4. If we go sign in, you can see that we actually got down over here and says hello user, hello and the username. If we go down here, maybe we'll do some space, and you can see down here we got hello and our username, and we got the index.php. So when we actually have our own session and we want to go ahead and display the username down over here, so we need to go at the header. We look at the header down here, let's say username, we have it down over here. So we want to check if, let's check first, we want to say let's check first for this stuff down here in the index.php. Basically we want to say when we actually have our own session, we don't want to like display the login and the register down here. We only want to display the username and the home. So we're gonna go if, we're gonna use the shorthand function as set session user name. Okay, we want like, oh, let's say if it's not set, we're gonna display the login and the register, else we will go ahead and display this whole thing down over here, and we need to end this and f. All right, so this is how you use the shorthand function. It's a lot cleaner, in my opinion, than writing, than actually writing the other, when you go ahead and write HTML inside PHP, which is just not clean. All right, so can say if we customize these things down here, and of course we want to go ahead and equal out our own username down here if we actually logged in and we have our own session. So I'm guessing that that looks great. If we save all of this, go ahead right here and refresh, you can see that we've only got the home down here and we got the user name that we should be getting. So I want to link to the login to the logout page so I can destroy the sessions. So logout.php, which is a page that we're going to be doing, so we can go ahead and destroy our own sessions. So we're gonna go logout.php. all right, so what we're gonna do to destroy our own sessions, we're gonna start the session first. Session start, session unset, session destroy. All right, so we're gonna unset the whole variables and we're gonna destroy the whole sessions, and after that we can head back to our own home. All right, so we're gonna say header location index.php. So if we save this whole thing, now if we go back down here, refresh this, if we go over here and look up down here, maybe something. So it's still, let's go back to the header, href, if we save this whole thing again, because it doesn't sound like it's linking to this page, I don't know why. We save this whole thing, and now it's linking to the page down here. If we log out, you can say that we actually got back to the index, and now we're displaying the login and the register and the home, and we're not displaying the username anymore because we've checked our own sessions. And don't worry about this, down here. We can go and actually do this email, this error, solely because now we destroyed the session, so it doesn't know what this actually is because there is no session, so it's not gonna like echo out anything. So it's just commented for now. So we need, like, let's go ahead and actually type in or change these links. So if we go login.php and register.php. So if we refresh, you can see now that we have our own login and our own register. So let's log in again because I want to keep checking for some errors and some sessions, if the session is set or not, and if we have any errors. So let's go ahead and copy this 1 2 3 4, and if we sign in, you can see that we got back and we have our own username and we got the logout. But what if the user goes down here and he tries to access the login or the register? Can he access them? We're gonna go ahead and see now, despite the fact that we actually did not show them up there, the user can come down here and he can access the login.php, and he can access also the register page, which isn't what we want, and this is unacceptable, and this is not even programming anymore. So basically we want to set our own, we want to check inside the page itself if there is a session or not. If there is a session, we will not even allow the user to access them from the search down here. All right, if we go to login, we're gonna say at the top Down here we're going to say if the session is set, if the session is actually unset, username. We want to head back to the index page, so we're going to say header location and index.php. So we're checking for the session. If the session is unset, if it's not there, we need to go ahead and go to the index.php. Well, actually, we need, if the session is there and he tries to access the login.php, we are going to go ahead to the index. So sorry about that, just a bit confusing now. So let's save all of this and copy this and go to the register down over here. Now let's keep it also at the top. And save this as well. So if we now we actually have the session because we have the user in down over here. If we refresh this, you can see that we're going back to the index.php because we have our own session. Let's try and access the register.php, and we're going back to our own index.php because of course we have our own sessions. So we're gonna go to the index. Let's go ahead now and log out. You can say that we got our own links down here. You can actually go to the login and the register because the session is destroyed, and we can go ahead and log in for a user or register and create a new account. So that's basically it for this video. I hope that you're not confused or anything. All what we're doing is just doing some checking because we need to limit the user accessibility or the user access to sensitive stuff, data and stuff like that. So that's it, and see you.